So, uh, haven't seen anything about the league yet, which is super easy because I just don't wake up and then everything's out. Someone wanted a reaction video. I hate reaction videos, but I think they're useless. But hey, if you want to watch it, that's great. Um, it's raining, so if you can hear it, my bad. But that's about as useless as me saying sorry for not watching, sorry for not making a lot of videos, and sorry that I sound sick. Because if someone comes in and hasn't been here, then you don't know what my voice sounds like, and you don't know how frequently I upload. And if you're watching this from the future, then it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if you can't. I'm procrastinating. Okay, at least called echoes. That's cool. Reaction content. I feel like my opinion is invalid because I don't care about my opinion. And if someone else had my opinion, I wouldn't care about it. But maybe someone cares about my opinion. So honest opinion, I guess. Maybe.
What drives you, exile? Is it justice? Revenge? Honor?
I can't full screen it.
It is power. We felt your deeds. Felt their shockwaves ripple through the void. You have our attention. Now you must keep it. Your limits will be tested. Break them. Do what is thought impossible, and the Atlas will follow.
Oh. I missed something.
What is thought impossible.
Okay. I was just modifying the volume.
Will follow.
Boss Killing League. And then Passive Tree, we thought that, yeah. Wow, new maps. Sorry. I should be way more excited. New skills. Sentences. Fuck. Harvest, yep. Heist, yep. Expansion. The expansion's echoes and the league's rituals. Map Juice League. Obviously.
The stars themselves will bear silence.
So the expansion, I know nothing. The expansion's like a fleshed out and dumbed down version of Metamorph at the same time. So instead of like taking 10 monsters, 5 monsters, 5 bosses and combining them together and then fighting each part individually, you take 5 to 10 map bosses and fight them all at once. I'll find out in like 10 minutes when I scroll down.
How far will you bend before you break?
Makes me want to play Dancing Dervish again, because that's the only build that I've ever played where I actually enjoyed bossing, because it would kill shit as I dodged and stuff. And you're like, oh, play a minion build, but nah, like, zombies and shit didn't feel as satisfying as Dancing Duo did. Shit. Oh. Yeah, this is when it's available. My timer doesn't work. Wait one sec. No, still broken. Okay. Something. Echoes the Atlas. More control. Something. Specializing rain. None of this makes sense. Do I watch this? How long is this? Oof. Yeah, we'll do it at the end. So you can watch for 10 minutes, you can watch for 45. This is the lady, it's not the silence, it's the maven. When the elder was sealed, entities far beyond the borders of the Atlas, the worlds took and turned their attention in our direction. The first such visit maven. Hungry to witness your fight for survival. It's female Einhar. Literally. Cool. Instead of fighting yellow monsters, we're now fighting brown monsters, as in rare to unique. Female Einhar. Right. Taste of her power, sure. Prove your mettle. Slaying 3 map bosses in the Maven's presence will earn you an invitation to her realm where she will request you defeat these bosses simultaneously. It's literally Bestiary 2.0. I'm okay with this. Having demonstrated your strength, he challenges you to defeat the boss, 4 bosses, then 5, then 6, then finally 10 at the same time. Okay. I need a boss killer. That changes all of my plans. What was I gonna do at League Start? Can I make that a boss killer? Harvest crafting's back. Theoretically, I can. I was gonna do Split Arrow. I don't know necessarily if Split Arrow is a good boss killer. I mean, it might be. But I was gonna do if I can't do Split Arrow, I guess there was a Bladestorm build I wanted to try, but I don't know if Bladestorm is a boss killer. Fucking melee. Ugh. Cool. This gives me bloody Wolsen vibes in a good way. I don't know, Wolsen had some nice giant golden floors. That's all it really had though, right? Green RF? Oh wait, no. Interesting. How's this one gonna work if there's no pillars to hide behind, unless that's it, but that doesn't look like it. So are there only like bosses that are absolutely gonna fuck you? This one, yes. The Chaos Warband boys will literally mutilate you. That's about it, really. Maybe the Firestorm one from Crater. And whatever the new ones, like 13 new maps, 13 new scary bosses. Deodre that does the like standing still and then cursing outwards. All the ones that like have mechanics that you have to actively stand behind a thing that shows up in the boss encounter. Are they going to show up in these encounters? This is when people accidentally figured out they could Spectre bosses. This is Metamorph, Bestiary, Spectre Glitch, the expansion. Cool, cool, cool. Passive tree, that's what people thought it was. Does this replace the master system? Probably not. It'd be like you've got the master system because these are leagues, not masters, right? So master system still exists, and then leagues on top of it. Oh, there's lots of them instead of just one. Of course there is. At least you don't have to, I assume, like, you set it and forget it, right? Looks like it. Set it and forget it. This is better in the long term, and it makes it seem slightly complicated, but it's probably fine. Cool. Oh boy. I am not even gonna bother going into this. I mean, this is great. If it... Does this, like, get rid of Scarabs? No. Scarabs still exist, maybe? If they, like, made these, like, stronger and got rid of Scarabs, I'd be 100% okay with it. I mean, assuming Scarabs are still in the game. It's fine, though, I guess. Getting rid of Scarabs would, like, completely destroy a bunch of, like, loot shit that's got thrown into previous leagues to make them seem enticing. But, yeah, it's cool. Should I talk about what I'm planning on doing this league? Metamorph is what I'm planning on doing this league. So all I care about, really, is whichever of these is Metamorph related. I'm not going to go into it. I'm sure some other smarter person's going to go into how this is amazing and what you can do, and there's going to be a meta and all that shit, no doubt. Endgame rewards, something, something. Craftable watchstones. Yeah, I don't want to even fucking deal with craftable watchstones. I didn't even find any of the crafting, like, armor enchantments and shit like that from Heist. I never even got to that point because I didn't enjoy Heist, so I just didn't bother getting to that point. Didn't bother. Ignoring. This is an expansion instead of a league, so theoretically, even if I ignore it, I'm still going to be doing it because it's the end game, right? So I will eventually encounter these craftable watchstones, and I'll either bother with it or I won't, but craftable watchstones means that they're not gonna have uses in the same way that sextants, I assume. So I'd craft them once and then use them for the rest of time, as opposed to putting a sextant on a watchstone and then that running out after 3. Or, I don't know what this bar represents, maybe it only lasts as long as 10 uses or something. Yeah. Players who earn these powerful rewards strictly better than normal watch, so it's traded. Don't expire with use. Hey, I should have just read. And the benefits can stack. Cool. So, theoretically, they're going to destroy... Someone told me that they got rid of splitting blueprints. Does that mean they're going to get rid of splitting delirium maps? I would 100% appreciate it if they got rid of splitting delirium maps. And then, you know, the economy balances itself out around beneficial stacking of... I don't know. Anyway, new endgame reward. Maybe I should finish my opinions. Fuck splitting maps and blueprints. It's stupid. It shouldn't be in, but it is. But that's fine, I guess. Can you split a watchstone? Can you mirror a watchstone? Craftable watchstones. What does a watchstone look like in your inventory? It's like a quest item, so that doesn't make any sense. So maybe they're going to be unique. Can't split uniques. That's okay. Something. Maven's Orb. Where do I know the name Maven from? Weeb shit. Affects the items that have 2 or more influence modifiers. Okay. When using an item, it randomly upgrades one of these influence modifiers and removes the other. The modifier that's being upgraded is already at the highest tier. It'll upgrade to a new elevated tier. So if I have a T1 like Elder and a T1 Shaper, like, okay, a T1 Elder and a T1 Hunter belt, and I slap a Maven Orb on it, it'll remove one of them and upgrade the other. So I spend 40x trying to get a strength belt, and then I slam a Maven Orb on it, and I either get a really good, even better strength belt, or I completely decimate it. It's like Val Orbing, except better. I mean, you don't Val something that you want as a crafting base, but you can Maven Orb something you want as a crafting base. And then you can either completely destroy your base, or make it a billion times better. 50-50? Damn, son. That's... I was expecting a downside more, like, bigger than 50%. Like, 50-50, sure, 50% is a downside, but... I was expecting, like, 25%. I mean, I wasn't expecting this in Orb at all, I should say, but I would say, if there is, like, I'm surprised it's not 25% chance to get the elevated tier, and then 75% chance to get shit on in unique in various ways. That's crazy. 11 new maps. I'll add them to my layout and loot, I suppose. Jungle map. This is, this looks like the, tile set they used in the PoE 2 demo. And a cool map with a Legion-esque looking encounter, which definitely isn't, it's just coffins. And a scary dude without a face. Cool. Speaking of what I was planning on doing this league, I was planning on going back to the layout and loot series, but instead of doing one map per video, I was probably going to do like 10 or so. So if I can get my hands on 1,000, like 100 of each of these new maps. 11? I thought it was 15. Oh well. Yeah, I could slap all the new maps loot from in one layout and loot video maybe. So I could just focus on doing 100 of each of these 11 new maps, and then make one video for it, and then go back to doing 10 of each for the next layout and loot stuff. Cool. Ritual League. This is the actual league. Something. Combat. So map juice. Breach plus... Ambush? No. What's the one? What's Shrines called? I don't know. Breach Shrines. Looks like it. Man, I really wish there was one that, like, made every monster in it, like, immortal to damage, and then you had to kill a very specific rare monster that had a shit ton of life, but it was hiding behind all the other rare monsters. I'm just kidding. It doesn't look as dense as I thought it would be, though. Like, Map Juice League, I assumed, would have had a shit ton of monsters in it, unless these characters that are killing stuff have already killed all the... There's no extra map juice, so there's a reward in a different way than the map juice, and here it is right here. Okay. As you slay monsters during ritual, you earn tribute, which can be spent on a variety of seductive items and rewards. Among these rewards, you may be offered New ritual base types. I read faster in my head than out loud. New ritual base types which pair very powerful implicit mods with challenging drawbacks. You can consume some tribute to reroll the rewards offered or to defer selected ones until later. What? Kill shit, earn tribute. You can consume tribute to reroll the rewards offered, or to defer selected ones until later. Why would you defer a reward until later when you could just take it now? I suppose if there's 2 really good rewards and you can only take 1, you defer 1 till later and then get it next time. The problem with deferring shit till later is I'm just going to keep doing it until my shit's full of really good stuff. What happens if... Maybe you can only defer, like, okay, maybe you can only defer it once, and then it'll show up next time, and you'd have to defer it again to keep deferring it and then take it. That's cool. This is cool. And you can re-roll shit? How many times can you re-roll it? Can I just... Okay. Low tier maps. I was like, my brain was instantly, how can I abuse this? Every PoE player's brain instantly switches to, how can I abuse this? My brain was like, how can I farm a shit ton of tribute and then just sit there re-rolling it like a casino machine? High tier maps, that's how. I don't wanna. Although you can check it every time. It'd be more efficient to just run a map and check it every time than it would be to re-roll it based on tribute. But if you check it and there's garbage, then I assume you got a whole bunch of tribute for that, so it doesn't matter. So does taking something out consume tribute? Are like all the items in here? I'm asking questions that are going to be explained most definitely in this video, so I'm just going to new tab that bitch. But I will ask questions either way. Will taking something out cost tribute? Or is it just here's everything, here's your tribute counter, you can use your tribute to reroll or delay, and then you can just take one thing free. This is like slightly better betrayal. I like that the expansion is Bestiary 2.0, kinda. Enhance your rituals. In the endgame, you can obtain tradable ritual vessels, which allow you to itemize the monsters from a ritual for some reason. You can place 4 vessels in a map device alongside to add their monsters. Okay, cool. Map juice. Transportable map juice. Tradable transportable map juice. Oh boy. There's like so many mechanics in this game that they make with like a couple singular functions, but then you can interact with those things in other encounters. Does that make sense? Like, they make a thing that works in 2 very specific ways, and they're like, by the way, it's tradable, and you can just throw it in with a whole bunch of other shit. That's really cool. That's the game has like fake complexity, right? It's not that everything interacts with everything else and then like amplifies other things. It's not that little cube from Diablo 2 or whatever that I've never played Diablo, but everyone's always like, there's a cube that makes everything more mind-blowing. It's not that. It's a whole bunch of really simple shit, but because there's so much of the real simple shit, PoE seems complex when it really isn't. It's just a vast, generic understanding of lots of little things. And then there's the build making, which I've chosen to ignore, which is where the complicated shit comes in. I'm saying PoE is not a complicated game by ignoring 80% of the game, which is all the complicated shit. But at a base level, PoE is really easy to understand, right? I haven't read this yet. In the end game, you contain tradable increased difficulty and rewards for those rituals. Cool. Vessels also substantially increase monster density. Nice. Something cool. In the end game, tradable. So does that mean do a T16, 15, and then after you get the ritual in it, inside the ritual rewards is a tradable ritual vessel, or will the tradable ritual vessels drop from like the monsters or like the mechanics? Who knows? They're in here. I don't see it anywhere. What the fuck? Is that a headhunter? Oh, you teasers, you absolute teasers. Is that photoshopped? Okay. I'm gonna have to put this in my Photoshop calculating tool and see whether this is photoshopped. The problem with like video game UIs over like rendered scenes is it says everything's photoshopped because that's how like UI works, but huh. So like it's a league that encourages endgame. Assuming like the reason that this is here and this is here and this is here and not this and this I don't know what the fuck that is, but like, and a 5 link, better rewards, higher tier maps? Who'd have thought? Better rewards, higher tier maps. Damn, son. Shit, what the fuck am I gonna play this league? Build-wise. Split Arrow, Blade Storm. I don't want to play Dancing Dervish, but I really do. I have a meme build that I want to play, but it costs money to get up and running. Blade Storm costs money to get up and running. Split Arrow, not really. You could just throw like a couple of Chaos on a bow and you're good. Bleed Split Arrow, I should say. Okay, if anyone's played Bleed Split Arrow and you're still here, can Bleed Split Arrow kill bosses? I mean, assuming there's 10 bosses, I could just Split Arrow them all, but whether that would inflict enough bleeds to do damage. Experience new power in addition to numerically rebalancing every ascendancy class. Fuck. With sustaining... Substaining... We've significantly reworked the Deadeye, Inquisitor, and Elementalist. Was I planning on using any of them? Probably Deadeye. The aim of these reworks has been to redistribute power within each ascendancy passive tree so that there are plenty of new ways to build powerful characters. That's great. This is not for me to go into, as I've said. That's not even the 3 that they said. Why would they say 3 and then link 3 different ones? That's just a cock tease. Hey, we've reworked Deadeye, that skill, that build you were planning on using. Here's a cultist, by the way. Okay. Sure. So that's up to someone else. Powerful new items. Cool. I'm gonna do a podcast, I suppose. If you have also like recommendations for podcast names, let me know. I thought of one that I think is funny, so maybe I'll go with that, but I'm open to more ideas. It's gonna be like a monthly thing though, not a weekly thing, and that's just giving me leeway to not do it. Like, I'll do it maybe in a couple days from now, and then a month from now I'll be like, oh shit, it's been like a month, I should probably do another one, and then organize it in a couple of days, and then do it, and then forget about that, and then a month later do it again. But the first one is going to be talking about like item interactions. That's it. I have no like, sorry, I'm derailing slightly. I have no plans going into it podcast-wise. Like, I've been on other people's podcasts and they have documents that are like, here's everything we want to talk about. Fuck that. I just want to sit down and like have a chat for like a couple hours, you know? But the way I'm theming them episode-wise is by who I'm inviting. So the first 3 people I'm inviting to discuss with are people who know about item interactions. Yep, that's a tease. Wield powerful new items. One of the hallmarks of Path of Exile's expansions is new items. We're just going to say that there's new items and then not link any of them to you because fuck you, that's for you to figure out when you get them, which is fair enough. In addition to new craftable watchstones, maven orbs, and plenty of ritual-based types, we've also introduced Hydrosphere. How do I get these names? The Hydrosphere. This is summarizing all of Bex's water-based teasers. Hydrosphere. Skill gem. Trinity support gem. 13 new unique items. And a slew of divination cards, which have been designed by our supporters. I like that the which have been designed by our supporters is there, so when a divination card comes out that's absolutely confusing, you know that some guy out there really wanted this 13 ancient orb card or something. I definitely don't want a 13 ancient orb card. How much do divination card crafting, how much does it cost to make a div card? How much money do I have? Not enough. And choose your harvest. The west. One sec. Bestiary 2.0. Atlas skill tree. Craftable stuff. That goes into Atlas, though. New maps. Ritual League. Ritual rewards. Kinda extra ritual rewards, like 5-ish new things. New ascendancies. New items. Harvest. Harvest is returned instead of having to manage your own shit. You discover portals to establish gardens. Here's this. See this right here? Carefully weigh. That's not going to happen. They say that, but that's not going to happen. You know Legion League, where they said you'll have to carefully decide which monsters to break out of the out of the frozen thing, and then to balance your rewards. That's not going to happen. They're just going to try and kill everything and complain that Harvest is overtuned. And that's the sad thing. Like, the reason we get week one, the reason we get week one patches that aren't bug fixes, the reason that Alert got destroyed in Heist and the amount of rares behind doors got diminished in Heist is because 80% of the people who are jumping into like really hard content without and like just assuming their builds can do it, and then they complain. Carefully weighing the encounter does not happen in this game. People just yeet themselves in, they blow up the entire legion, then complain that they died. They delve without getting darkness resistance. Delve didn't get nerfed because there was literally a number that said, this is you being an idiot, fix it, and then it was on the player. But carefully weighing the outcome isn't going to happen at all. People are just going to see a giant glowing plant that gives them a really good reward, and they're going to be, fuck yeah, I'm smashing that shit open. And then they die and surprise Pikachu face. Life Force, greatly improve your items. Does that just mean harvest crafting? I'd assume so. Yep, Heist, cool. Cool. I still crash in Heist. Like, just generically, the PoE still... fuck Heist. And if you're a developer that worked really hard, the assets are cool, the story's amazing, there's a shit ton of bugs, I know you go through and you fix everything, there's a whole bunch of shit you fix that people never even counted, but just like the gameplay is... It's optional. It's optional. Who cares? Supporter packs. Supporter packs are okay. Loot boxes are scummy tactics. Loot boxes are absolute crap. It's a shit way to monetize something. It's gambling for children, but it's not a children-based game, I suppose. But it's gambling and it's crap. And I'm gonna watch this. How 27? I apologize for what could have been a 4-minute video. It's gonna be a lot longer. So here's your marker. 27 minutes. You can stop watching now. I'm gonna watch this and talk about stuff, maybe. Oof, look at that quality. Slightly better.
Beware what you ask, Nomad. Curiosity is a charming trait until it is not. Curiosity. Information will be volunteered,
This is ASMR.
coerced. It will create more questions than it answers. When at last their shadow is cast upon the firmament, it will take more than you can possess to bind and silence the screams within your mind.
Okay, Strange Voice 2.0.
Hi, I'm Chris
Hello.
Wilson from Grinding Gear Games. Thank you so much for joining
He's
us
a great
today as
guy.
we unveil Path of Exile's 3.13 expansion. This release contains everything you've come to expect from a Path of Exile expansion release. A new challenge league, new skills, new items, metagame rebalances, and an endgame content update which will leave a lasting impact on Path of Exile. Our team have been very hard at work over the last few months, and we've got a lot up our sleeves to share with you today. But before we jump in, we wanted to mention that Twitch drops are enabled for the duration of this live stream.
This
Below the
is
stream,
already
you'll find
ended. I'm
instructions
watching
to
it
link
late.
your Path of Exile account to Twitch so that you're eligible to receive drops. 2020 was certainly a difficult year for development, but it was also one that saw a lot of big things happen with Path of Exile. In late 2019, we held our first ExileCon convention, where we announced several projects, including Path of Exile 2 and Path of Exile Mobile. Throughout 2020, we developed 4 major expansions: Delirium, Harvest, and Heist, as well as the one we're going to unveil today. We launched on the Epic Games Store and released our Vulkan renderer and a macOS client for Path of Exile.
Did this play before or after the trailer? Does this have the trailer in it? Wait a second. I just want the is this the trailer? Did I watch the trailer? Yeah, I watched the trailer. Trailer. Maybe. I'm just gonna start it like here.
In 2016, we introduced the Atlas of Worlds, a formal progression system for Path of Exile's endgame maps that culminated in a pinnacle boss fight against the Shaper. Since then, the War for the Atlas and Conquest of the Atlas expansions have expanded the Atlas system, introduced new endgame bosses, broadened mechanics, added new...
I think I'll just end it here. Maybe? Or I don't know. I'll do some editing or something, but I honestly feel like the next 30 minutes is just going to be me watching this. So if I have anything to say, I'll edit to that point. So, yeah.
rewards and provided more opportunity for
That being said,
mastery
the
of
little...
Path of Exile's endgame.
Whatever the fuck. Does this already look like this? Because that's cool.
The Echoes of the Atlas expansion introduces a new pinnacle boss, a new way to fight many map bosses at the same time, 11 new maps to explore, and new endgame rewards to earn. Just a few map tiers into Echoes of the Atlas, you will begin to encounter an NPC called the Envoy. It seems that when the Elder was sealed, its absence didn't go unnoticed. The Envoy speaks ominously of new visitors to the Atlas. The first such visitor, and the focus of this endgame expansion, is an entity called the Maven. You'll first encounter the Maven in the boss arena of a map, where she will make the boss encounter more difficult and watch as you do your best to defeat it. If you're successful, she'll give you her beacon, which lets you call her to any map in that region, so she can watch more fights.
She's a good person?
After showing her your boss-killing prowess, she will give you an invitation to her own realm, where she has prepared a special challenge. The Maven really wants to push you to your limits and has fabricated copies of the bosses she watched you defeat. This time, however, you'll have to defeat them simultaneously. If you manage to best her challenge, she'll politely ask you to do the whole cycle again, except this time she wants to watch more and tougher fights, and her next challenge will contain 4 bosses, then 5, then 6, and finally 10. If you're persistent and talented, you may even get to fight the Maven herself, in a very difficult boss encounter designed to challenge the strongest and best Path of Exile players.
Fuck.
Completing the Maven's challenges offers the opportunity to acquire some very powerful new rewards, including Atlas passive skill points, craftable watchstones, and even the Maven's Orb. As you complete the Maven's challenges, you'll earn a new type of passive skill point that can be allocated on a special passive skill tree in that region of the Atlas of Worlds. Each of the Atlas's regions has its own passive tree, and they generally have around 20 nodes to choose from. You can earn up to a total of 10 skill points per Atlas region. Let's check out some of the Atlas passive...
Generally. Does that mean that each skill tree and each node's different? That would be confusing. There's no way that's the case.
...choices in the Glennick Cairns region. This branch allows you to focus on Beyond, increasing the amount...
Looks like they're different.
...of experience granted by Beyond monsters, but also allowing you to spawn more Beyond monsters really easily. The Torn Veil notable will drastically increase the quantity of Beyond demons you can encounter. The Legion branch has a notable passive which increases the amount of time you have to break enemies out, and makes it easier to break them out. It's an example of a skill that you could invest into while you're weak, and then remove it later.
When I was talking about my plan being metamorph related, this is going to throw a spanner in that 100%. There's like a only 1 in 16. It's like a 5% chance this is actually going to benefit me. So I don't care about... I mean, this is great. I don't care about this helping me with my goal for this league. But this is fucking awesome.
Later once you're more powerful. And yes, as I implied here, there is an orb that lets you refund Atlas passives. The Incursion branch allows you to more easily get higher tier rooms in the Temple of Atsuatl, and helps you make a definitive decision on whether to swap specific rooms. On the Ambush branch, the tamper-proof notable passive upgrades all strongboxes to be rare and corrupted. This synergizes incredibly well with the Ambush Zana mod or prophecies like Monstrous Treasure. While it prevents you from re-rolling valuable types of strongboxes, the sheer number of corrupted 6-socket and 6-link items will certainly be tempting. Now let's have a look at the Atlas passive choices available in the Lex Proxima region. The Harvest branch can increase your chances of finding a sacred grove, increase it.
What are the odds on getting a 6-link from a Val Orb? It's not the same as a Fusing Orb, is it? Because you get so many. I guess someone will have to do the math.
its crafting rewards and make it more likely that you'll encounter a Shabi. We'll explain later in the presentation about how Harvest is being integrated into the core game in this expansion. The Torment branch can increase item drops from possessed and touched monsters, as well as populating the area with some already possessed monsters. These synergize quite well with the Sextants that guarantee a certain amount of rewards from possessed monsters. The Delve branch can increase your Sulfite gains, grant more Master Favor, and grant more Nico Master missions. The Sulfite Infusion notable passive grants Sulfite for defeating map bosses, regardless of whether the area has Nico present. This means that you'll be constantly gaining Sulfite for every map you do in a region, which is a great strategy if you're not already using Sulfite Scarabs.
It's like SSF League. Really good SSF shit. But it's not designed for SSF. What the fuck? It's not designed for hardcore either.
Aggressively. There are also breach passives, which increase your chances of encountering a breach and ramp up the difficulty and rewards of your breaches. Naturally, new endgame content
Where's my Metamorph?
means new endgame rewards.
Fine.
Watchstones are an endgame item that can be placed in the Atlas of Worlds to upgrade a region's map tiers and add new base maps.
So there's still like... There's so many names to describe things in this game. There's still strongholds, which means there's still the guys, which means Cyrus is still a thing, which means I could still technically do a Cyrus loot video. A Cyrus loot video. But, God, it seems so complicated trying to get Cyrus kills. Maybe I could put a bounty on Cyrus kills. Like, if you record your Cyrus kill... I'm distracted. If you record your Cyrus kill, like a Cyrus Awaken at 8 or whatever level kill, and then show me the loot drops, I'll give you like 10 chaos. Am I allowed to pay for information in this game? You're doing stuff for me. I'm getting a service out of it. I think that should be allowed. I don't have enough money. I like to get... The league hasn't even started. How much money? 10,000 chaos for 1,000 Cyrus kills? 10 chaos isn't much. But if you get a Cyrus kill, and you want an extra 10 chaos... record it before you start and send me the clip.
To that region. There are two types of existing watchstones. Quest item ones that can upgrade a region and can't be traded between players, and unique ivory watchstones that provide special bonuses and can be traded. These unique ones are consumed after a number of maps are run.
We're finally getting the tutorial on how watchstones
Atlas
work.
expansion introduces 3 new types of craftable watchstones: titanium, chromium, and platinum. Like regular watchstones, these never expire, but unlike regular watchstones, they can be traded and crafted. They are found quite late in your progression through the Atlas. The eventual goal is that you replace all of your base quest item watchstones with new craftable ones over time as you upgrade your Atlas.
Fuck yeah, these are my
Each
Discord
of these
noises.
3 types of new watchstone has its own special mod pool, but there's also a shared mod pool that they all draw from. Like flasks, they can only be normal or magic. You can't find or craft rare watchstones. Because you can have up to 4 watchstones socketed in a region, up to 8 mods can affect that region, and some quite large bonuses to specific content can be stacked.
I bet you someone finds a rare one.
When combined with the Atlas passive trees, these really allow you to optimize what content you encounter and the rewards from that content. Some quite large bonuses may be normal. Specific content can be stacked. When combined with the Atlas passive trees, these really allow you to optimize what content you encounter and the rewards from that content. The Maven's Orb is an endgame crafting currency item that can only drop from the Maven herself. It allows you to craft influence modifiers when 2 or more are present on an item by removing one modifier and upgrading another. When upgrading an influence modifier of the current highest tier, it upgrades to a new elevated tier that can have additional properties.
Can have additional properties. I mean, will, in some way, be better than the highest tier, but some can have additional properties. What's the bet that all gets data mined?
This Foul Regalia has 2 Crusader influence modifiers on it, the percentage increased intelligence 1 and the physical damage taken as lightning damage 1.
Oof.
When we apply a Maven's Orb to it, it randomly removes one of these mods and upgrades the other one to become an elevated influence mod. In this case, it upgraded the increased intelligence mod to also have +1 to the level of socketed intelligence gems. The other influence mod was removed. This opens up a mod slot, of course, so it's now possible to add another mod to it.
I'm too dumb to figure out how to make this good. I mean, you do it on an already rolled item. You wouldn't do it on something you're crafting. Cool.
Let's YOLO exalt it for good measure. Maven's Orb crafting is only going to be performed by the upper echelons of elite players, and
I'm not that. It's easy to YOLO exalts when you can spawn them in.
pushes the boundaries of the best items that are possible in Path of Exile. One of the things that players look forward to in an endgame Path of Exile expansion is new maps to play. In Echoes of the Atlas, we have added 11 new types of maps to the Atlas of Worlds, covering a wide variety of environments. And of course, each comes with its own challenging boss fight. Let's have a look at 4 of these new tile sets. One of the reasons why these new maps look so good is that the environment art tile set and level design teams working on them have been doing so much work on Path of Exile 2 recently. And
Thought I recognized some of the assets.
Here. There are 7 other new maps with their own bosses to discover in-game in this expansion.
Thought I recognized the squiggly root system.
Whenever we release a new quarterly Path of Exile update, we start a new challenge league. These are essentially a fresh server to play on for that expansion launch, where players explore the new league mechanics, rush to conquer the new economy, race to level 100, and try to get the best items before their friends. The challenge league being released alongside Echoes of the Atlas is the Ritual League. In the Ritual League, you'll discover several mysterious altars in each area you explore.
Several.
Slay the monsters at the ritual site and then activate the altar to initiate the ritual. When it begins, you'll be enclosed within the ritual circle and will have to face off against both the onslaught of monsters you've just slain and also the specific powers of that altar. Each subsequent ritual in the area will summon all the monsters from the previous ones, so the difficulty and reward ramp up as you challenge yourself with each successive ritual.
Fuck yeah!
Monsters you kill after you have activated a ritual grant you points called tribute. At the end of each ritual, you'll have an opportunity to spend this tribute on various
You do buy it.
reward items. These items vary greatly in power and
So let's say you get a headhunter early, but you don't have enough tribute. You can't even buy tribute. Ugh. God. Like just as like a safety measure, that's my discord. Just as a safety measure, just gotta get a shit ton of tribute just in case, and then spend the extra. Like, you don't want to be that guy on Reddit with like a fucking headhunter and not enough tribute to buy it. You could defer it, I suppose. Just keep deferring it until you get enough. Weird.
cost, so you may find you can afford several cheaper ones or one more valuable one. For clarity, tribute doesn't transfer between game areas.
Oh, good. Never mind. I take everything back. I should just watch the video and then all my questions would be answered.
Cost, so you may
Is that an MTX or is that an item? That's an item, right?
find you can afford several cheaper ones or one more valuable one. For clarity, tribute doesn't transfer between game areas. As you complete subsequent rituals in the same area, more potential rewards will be revealed, which can be very expensive. If you can't afford to purchase a reward outright, you can spend a portion of its cost to defer it until later. This means that it will show up in a later area at a reduced price. Items can be deferred multiple times until you can eventually afford them, and for some of the most valuable rewards in this league, this may be the easiest way to obtain them.
Makes sense. So it's like putting down a loan. A loan, it's like renting an object instead of buying it, but it ends up cheaper in the long term. It motivates people to do more maps. God damn it! Why are they so good at making their own game?
You can also spend some tribute to re-roll the contents of the reward screen one time per instance if you'd like a new set of reward items to
One time per instance, they've thought of everything.
choose from. Among the many other rewards you can choose from in Ritual are a special new set of Ritual base types. These are craftable items that have different implicit modifiers
than Path of Exile's regular base types. Specifically, they have a strong upside combined with an accompanying downside. If you can create a build that mitigates this drawback, then you can take advantage of the power of these items and craft them into something amazing. For example, these Nexus gloves reduce your maximum mana but have a chance of immediately refunding the mana spent to use a skill. If you can work around this restriction to your mana pool, you can periodically use skills for essentially no mana cost. Here are two other examples of ritual base types. The Penitent
Crush me, daddy.
Mask
I
and
regret
Stormrider
saying that
boots.
immediately.
The Penitent
You are crushed.
Mask applies the Crush debuff to you, removing your physical damage protection. However, its upside is that it increases the effect of Fortify on you by quite a lot, reducing the damage you take from hits. There are many situations where this is a huge win, such as if you already have no armor or endurance charges. The Stormrider boots reduce your accuracy rating but provide a huge added lightning damage boost to your attacks based on your accuracy rating. If you have other sources of accuracy to rely on, then this is potentially a huge increase to the lightning damage you deal. In the endgame, you can obtain ritual vessels, which allow you to itemize the monsters from a ritual. You can place up to 4 vessels in the map device alongside a map to add the monsters stored in those vessels to the rituals present in the map. This increases both the difficulty and rewards of the rituals.
I'm gonna have to, like, use the character I used in Delirium League or something, because I don't think I'm good enough for all this content. You know? I don't think I'm, like, good enough at the game. I need a strong tanky boy. Oh.
As well as generating even more tribute to spend on those rewards. For example, because there's a chance of encountering a Headhunter or Mirror of Kalandra as rewards, using ritual vessels increases the chances you'll be offered those items and allows you to afford them.
You motherfucker.
In addition, you can use these vessels to substantially
So I shouldn't make plans before League start.
increase monster
All of my plans, I'm like, maybe I don't need to do those anymore. Maybe I could just play the game and get the fun rewards.
density and maxed out maps that have mechanics like Beyond or Delirium present. Using vessels, you have control over the risk and reward of your hardest ritual encounters. Vessels are tradable both before and after they contain monsters. In addition to the new endgame content in the Ritual Challenge League, a large focus of the Echoes of the Atlas expansion is on its Ascendancy classes. Path of Exile has 19 Ascendancy classes, which let you specialize your character further than the base character classes allow. To unlock your Ascendancy class, you must find the Altar of Ascendancy at the end of the Lord's Labyrinth. In this expansion, we've rebalanced every one of these 19 classes and have significantly reworked 3 of them, the Elementalist, the Inquisitor, and the Deadeye. The aim of these changes is to redistribute and simplify power so that Ascendancy passive skills perform stronger single functions more effectively. Let's check some of them out. The Elementalist has always been a good general Ascendancy class for many elemental builds, but lacked really in-depth build options. Now you can pick which elemental ailments to use for greater build customization, as well as providing more consistent power against tougher enemies.
Damn.
The Elementalists can also protect themselves from a large amount of elemental damage. Bastion of Elements provides a significant defensive shield against elemental damage, which can be further improved by allocating more skills on your passive tree and Ascendancy tree.
Huh.
The Liege of the Primordial and Elemental skills focus on golem builds. Taking
Look at all the nodes.
Liege of the Primordial now means that your golems are automatically resummoned 4 seconds after they die. To make your golems immune to elemental damage, you'll now need to spec into Elementor as well as Liege of the Primordial. Previously, the Shaper of Desolation skill forced you to improve both Shocking and Chilling, even if you didn't use both. We've now moved these benefits into their own branches, culminating in the Shaper of Flames,
definitely
Winter,
did
and
both of
Storm
those
skills,
things.
allowing you to pick which ailments you improve.
What? Your hits always shock?
You can use and enhance Ignite, Chill, and Shock on any build. Mastermind of Discord no longer focuses on heralds and allows you to strip all elemental resistances from your enemies effectively. Pendulum of Destruction has been reworked as Heart of Destruction, providing more elemental damage or area of effect when you need them most. The Inquisitor has derived much of its power from its Inevitable Judgment skill, but the rest of the tree was fairly straightforward and lacked anything truly unique. After our changes in this expansion, many more of the Inquisitor skills provide significantly more offensive or defensive power, while Instruments of Zeal opens up an entirely new and very unique playstyle. Let's have a look at some of the new Inquisitor Ascendancy skills. Pious Path no longer affects attack and cast speed, and now allows you to double the potential recovery of life regeneration by having it apply equally to Energy Shield. Sanctuary no longer provides mana, but now has a larger damage bonus from Consecrated Ground, up from 10% to 15%. Righteous Providence has been simplified a lot. It still focuses on critical strike chance, but it now scales it up by a percentage equivalent to either your strength or intelligence value, whichever one is lowest. It also provides plus 50 to both of these attributes, which is a huge benefit in multiple ways. You will definitely want lots of both attributes. Instruments of Virtue has been simplified and made more powerful. Its benefits no longer strictly apply if you've cast a spell or attacked recently, but it now grants 10% more attack damage for each non-instant spell you've cast recently, up to a maximum of 30%. It also grants Battle Mage, which causes you to gain added spell damage equal to the damage of your main hand weapon. This provides a lot of new hybrid spellcast and melee build possibilities. You can combine Instruments of Virtue with the new Instruments of Zeal Ascendancy passive. This introduces a concept of fanaticism, which causes spells you cast yourself to have 75% more cast speed, reduced mana cost, and increased area of effect.
Oh,
Fanaticism is gained by using attacks regularly, giving huge bonuses for weaving attacking and spellcasting together.
Spellcaster League. Self-casting quiz.
Historically, the Deadeye Ascendancy was the best place to find a variety of strong projectile-based effects. But over time, more of these effects have shown up on items, and the Deadeye has lost much of what made it unique. We've brought the uniqueness back to this Ascendancy with a variety of new mechanics that enable new ways to build and play ranges. Let's have a look at the new Deadeye Ascendancy skills.
Okay.
Far Shot now deals 60% more damage to enemies far away from you, which is up from 30% before,
Okay.
but now also deals 20% less damage to enemies that are close.
That's fine.
It no longer has a projectile speed bonus, but now removes the spread from your barrages.
Oh, okay.
This additional damage rewards Deadeyes who can keep their distance from their targets. Previously, Ricochet caused your projectiles to chain an additional time and granted 10% more damage for each remaining chain. The new Ricochet allows your projectiles to both chain an additional time and have a chance to chain off walls and terrain. Endless Munitions has been simplified to offer 2 additional projectiles rather than 1 additional projectile and some other minor bonuses. This skill is accessible behind 3 of the Deadeye's paths, making it an option for many different Deadeye builds. Occupying Force is a new skill that benefits Mirage Archers by granting you additional ones and allowing them to be separate from you.
What? 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 That's fucking awesome.
Gathering Winds now always grants Tailwind to permanently boost your speed, and the increase to Tailwind effect
Okay, fuck it. Plain split arrow.
per skill used is now given by the Gale Force buff. Wind Ward enhances the Gathering Winds passive by making Gale Force a lot more effective, with the drawback of losing your Gale Force if you're hit. If you can stay out of the fray, this potentially makes your character even more potent. The Rupture skill previously helped Critical Strike bleed builds. It's been renamed to Rupture Ring and has been simplified while being made more powerful. Critical strikes that inflict bleeding now also inflict Rupture, which causes bleeding enemies to lose more life, but their bleed expires more quickly. Focal Point is a new skill which improves the effect of mark skills that were made more powerful in our recent Heist expansion. It increases the effect of your marks by 75% and makes surrounding enemies deal less damage to you.
Deba, and then chain or fire shot. Boss League, probably need that, but chaining, I don't know.
As you have seen, the Elementalist, Inquisitor, and Deadeye have undergone some major changes in this expansion. We have also improved the
Don't need chain if I've got 2 extra Mirage Archers.
other 16 Ascendancy classes, and will show you some of the changes to the Slayer to demonstrate what you can expect. Some Slayer effects were much stronger than others, limiting build choice. We've now provided more power spread out over a wider selection of passives, while allowing easier access to the Slayer's special leech mechanic. Brutal Fervor and Endless Hunger have switched places on their Ascendancy branch so that Life Leech is more accessible and can be further improved by spaking into Endless Hunger. Masterful Form still causes you to have endurance charges equal to the number of frenzy charges you have, but now grants an additional frenzy charge instead of increasing endurance and frenzy charge duration.
Nice.
Overwhelm's base critical strike chance for attacks with weapons has been increased. Hopefully you now have a good idea of the scope of changes that we have made to the 19 Ascendancy classes. While the biggest changes to the 3 we're heavily revamping, the Elementalist, Inquisitor, and Deadeye, all of the others have received at least numeric attention also. We believe that the new design philosophy for Ascendancy passives makes them easier to understand and that they are a more concentrated source of power. We look forward to revealing the rest of the changes next week. Like with improving Ascendancy classes, adding new skill and support gems to Path of Exile helps create new ways to play. In Echoes of the Atlas, we've introduced 2 new gems that provide versatile ways for you to build powerful new characters. These are the Hydrosphere skill gem and the Trinity support gem. First, let's have a look at Hydrosphere.
Lob of storms, but water.
The skill summons a huge sphere of water that you can move around to crush enemies. While it is active, you can apply cold or lightning ailments to it. It will then pulse for a duration, afflicting nearby enemies with damage matching that ailment.
Does it move around? Do you have to cast it to move around, or does it move around itself? Like, I can see it blinking and shit between packs.
It summons a huge sphere of water that you can move around to crush enemies.
I think you gotta cast it? Or, I don't know.
While it is active, you can apply cold or lightning ailments to it.
Yeah, you gotta
It will then
cast
pulse
it.
for a duration, afflicting nearby enemies with damage matching
Looks
that ailment.
cool when it moves, though.
This player is applying freeze to the Hydrosphere with freezing pulse, and that causes it to repeatedly damage surrounding enemies with cold damage. Here's the gem hover for Hydrosphere. This skill gem can be acquired from level 34 and can be supported with spell, area of effect, duration, cold, orb, lightning, and physical support gems. It pulses every 0.4 seconds while an ailment is applied to it. It also converts its physical damage to cold or lightning damage based on what ailments are on it. The Trinity support gem is designed to support builds that deal multiple types of elemental damage. While Trinity supports your skill, any hits that deal damage with a specific element will build resonance with the other 2 elements. The more resonance you have of every element, the more damage the Trinity support gem provides. When you have high resonance with all 3 elements, Trinity also grants elemental penetration. Here you can see the player using Ball Lightning with Unleash and Magma Orb to build resonance across all 3 elements. To power up the Trinity support gem quickly and uniformly, the player alternates between pairs of elemental damage types. Combined with the Elemental Weakness Curse, the maximum resonance Trinity absolutely decimates enemies. In addition to introducing the 2 entirely new gems we described, we have done an extensive balance pass on other skills. We have buffed over 40 existing gems, including skills such as Scorching Ray, Seismic Trap, Firestorm, Venom Gyre,
Wonder if Firestorm will be good.
Static Strike, Kinetic Bolt, Crackling Lance, Lightning Strike, Shrapnel Ballista, and Artillery Ballista. Full details will be available in the patch notes next week so that you can plan your perfect build. As well as introducing and rebalancing skills, another important aspect of keeping the metagame fresh in a Path of Exile expansion is adding new unique items to discover and build characters around. Unlike most items you find in Path of Exile that are randomly generated, unique items are extremely rare ones that our design team have hand-created to offer new build opportunities. Echoes of the Atlas introduces 10 new unique items, some of which are exclusive to its new endgame encounters. Let's have a look at a few. These are some unique worm-scale boots called Legacy of Fury. They place scorched ground as you travel, which applies the Scorch ailment to enemies standing in it. When scorched enemies die, they have a chance to set fire to surrounding enemies, dealing a percentage of the slain enemy's life over time. These boots create an interesting and new way to support your build with fire damage. This is a new unique amethyst ring called Black Flame, which is themed around fire and chaos damage. Its headline effect is that your ignites now deal chaos damage, along with a cool new Chaos Ignited effect on monsters. Also, if you ignite a withered enemy while wearing Black Flame, the wither will no longer expire, and you can build up to its maximum of 15 stacks, if the enemy survives long enough, that is.
I don't know how to make that
Along
good.
with its various other benefits, this unique ring should ignite a few new ways of playing fire and chaos damage characters. These new Zealot gloves are called Hand of the Fervent and create an interesting interaction between physical damage and the mana cost of skills. The unique ability of these gloves happens whenever you use a skill. They grant an effect called Sacrificial Zeal, which both adds a quarter of the skill's mana cost to spell physical damage, but also hurts you, to the tune of 150% of the skill's mana cost.
My brain! What the fuck is happening? Crangled. What?
over 4 seconds. They also reduce your enemy's physical damage reduction. When we have time during an expansion's development, we try to identify past leagues that can be integrated into the core game as optional side content, with a few improvements.
Optional.
This expansion contains 2 such leagues. Last year, we released the Harvest League, which allows you to grow a garden of monsters, fight them, and then use their lifeblood to craft your items in powerful ways. Watching this league unfold made us realize 2 things. Firstly, the crafting options were so powerful and so easily accessible that players had unprecedented access to almost everything they wanted very quickly. Secondly, even the players who did enjoy the mechanics of growing their own garden would probably find it boring if that was something they had to do every single league.
Yep.
When deciding how to integrate Harvest into the core game, we knew that we had to curtail crafting somehow, but we didn't want to just do this by nerfing it a lot. We needed a smarter solution that still allowed players to earn and perform powerful crafts. We also knew that we didn't want players to have to grow and manage their own gardens every league. So let's check out how Harvest works as part of the core game in Echoes of the Atlas. In Echoes of the Atlas, as you play through maps, rather than finding a seed cache, you'll now encounter a portal to the Sacred Grove. But it's not your own Sacred Grove, it's an established one that has a full complement of plants ready to harvest.
Oh, the pylon placement. It's you don't find a grove. You find a grove built by someone from Reddit.
Fight and craft with. The grove contains several pairs of harvests to choose between, each displaying the details of the fight and the corresponding crafting options. You can only pick one of each pair, so carefully choose which crafting options are best for you, defeat the monsters, and use their life force to perform the crafts.
Forgot how scary Harvest was.
If you're strong enough to kill the monsters, each grove represents quite a lot of crafting opportunities, and you can save up to 10 crafts for later use at the Hoarder crafting station, which is now available in your hideout. We like this compromise because it keeps the exciting elements of Harvest, fighting and crafting, and drops the part that got old quickly.
I can still delete my crafts though, right?
Seed management and garden planning.
Sounds good.
We're also integrating the Heist League into the core game as optional content, with a few improvements. In Heist, players travel to the rogue
I love the ominous music, because that's what every person thinks when they hear Heist.
harbor to hire a crew of thieves to help them plan and execute risky heists, working towards a thief's ultimate goal, pulling off a grand heist. In the Echoes of the Atlas expansion, heist contracts drop from Act 6 onwards. Rogues level up their skills faster from completing heists, markers drop with higher stack sizes, and quest contracts are now dropped for you at the next smuggler's cache as soon as that quest is available. One great aspect of Heist is that all of its progress items are tradable, so if you're focusing on other content, you can trade away your contracts until you're ready to go on some heists.
Still gonna feel shit getting a shit ton of contracts and not enough, like, tokeny boys.
So we've covered most of the big features of Echoes.
Assuming you even want to touch Heist, which you don't have to, because it's optional. I've already forgotten the name. Ritual? Ritual's gonna be more rewarding than Heist, right? It has to be.
Echoes of the Atlas so far. Keep an eye out for the patch notes in a few days where we will detail other changes that didn't make it into this presentation. Soon we'll move on to the Q&A about today's announcements.
No, we won't, because I don't want to make a 7-hour video. Is this good enough? If you're still here, it was, so great. I'll probably do a discussion podcasty thing a couple days from now, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4. If you have any like questions for like items or just generic questions about my opinion, which I don't care about my opinion, but if you do, just fill the chat full of questions if you got this far. If you didn't, that's great. I mean, if you did, whatever. Yeah. Thanks for watching. This is a lot of information. All I need is the skill tree and path of building to be updated and to think about what the fuck I'm gonna do because there's so much shit to do. Oh my god. What the fuck am I gonna do? Maybe Metamorph, but I'd have to see all the skill trees for the Atlas before I even decide. So maybe Metamorph, maybe can't do Metamorph. Probably can do Cyrus. definitely will do 10 or 11 of the new maps, so at least 1,100 maps will be farmed, and I will make a video and put them all in that, and then throw that into the layout and loot. Maybe Cyrus kills. Probably going to start with Split Arrow. There's definitely a meme that I want to do that isn't any of that, so it's going to be a really big league for me, map-wise, farming-wise. And I got some IRL shit going on, which is exciting and terrifying at the same time. So, yeah, whole bunch of shit to happen. Looks good. Hope it isn't full of bugs and crashes, but hey, we'll never know. If you feel like buying supporter packs, go support them. If you feel like buying loot boxes, don't. Yeah. Feel like supporting me, there's tons of places like Patreon and Twitch, and you can subscribe and just watch ads, or you could just subscribe and not watch ads. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I've got a Discord as well. Come hang out, come chat. I'm in a channel right now. I'm not talking to them because I'm muted. Hey, Corvid.
Jim,
Are you playing Monster Hunter?
I'm about to.
Do you want to do like a Twitch plug for me real quick?
I don't really know what you're talking about.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about. You fucking... You...
I don't understand. I could. Do you need? Aren't the plugs in Australia different than what we have in America?
Oh, you can't do it on demand, but you'll do it every other time that I happen to have a conversation with you.
I don't. We've never talked about electronics before. I'm very confused.
Fuck you, Corbin.
He's like asking me about different plugs. I don't know what the plugs they have in Australia are, Jim.
I just
can
got
look it up.
back and I know
You deadpan humor piece of shit.
Okay.
You think you're so good.
Thanks. I don't think I'm good, Jim.
Fuck you.
Okay. Good talking to you.
But if you want to hang out in the Discord, you could just show up and we could be friends.
He's back on mute. Blood, my
if
my
you
down-
enjoy Slippery Jim's content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow with Twitch Prime.
Thanks, Blood! That's why you're my
Blood,
favorite, Blood. You're my favorite. Out of you and Corbin, Blood's my favorite.
Yeah, of course, because he's the only Blood and I'm the only Corvid.
Ah.